The next new concept is what we are calling systems. So if we go into systems, this brings together a combination of other things. So if we're looking, we have things called customers, who are the humans or the farmers that own the digesters. We have smart meters. These are the smart biogas units. And we have digesters and we have appliances. These all come together to make a system. So what I'm going to do here is show you how to create a new system and how to view your systems. So if we start with adding a new system, then it will ask you to give your system a name, and you can add an external reference number if you like, and you can also write some installation notes or anything you would like to, if you'd like some information about the system here, and you can locate it as well. So you can click this button to open the map, and if we click here, it will locate me. So I live in Warwick. You can see where I live in the UK, and then if we continue to go down, we can also add a shared group. So if your organization has the ability to share systems with another organization, then we can click here and it gives us the options that are available to us, and we can say that we want to share this system with one of these groups. If you need a group, if you need to give access to another group or to another organization, then contact one of the Inclusive Energy members and I'm sure we can help you out. I can go into a bit more detail about that in a slightly other video as well. So if we click next, then it gives us the option, it says, what would you like to add to your system? So in this case, we're going to go through everything. So we're going to add a customer, we're going to add a smart meter, a digester, and an appliance. So here, it's going to ask us the details of each of those components to the system. So we have two options. Either we can look for an existing customer that we have already signed up. So maybe you have a farmer that has multiple systems, or potentially it's being owned by a group of a group of digesters, a group of systems are being owned by a single person. You can select someone who has already been added to the system, or you can add a new customer. We can go through this quite quickly. So it's going to ask you for the name and an email address, and you can either input your contact preference. So either you can give a phone number or an email address, or you can give both. And it asks you for an address. For here, we're going to say this is the same as the system address, and you can select a gender if that is something that is interesting. So we have registered this new customer. We can click next. And similarly for smart meters, we can either select a smart meter that has already been registered. All of the smart meters for this organization have already been assigned to systems, so that it says there are none available. So we can add a new smart meter. So I have a smart meter here with me. It has a label on it, which includes the device ID over here. We have two options. Either we can type the device ID or we can scan the QR code. Let me see if we can scan the QR code. Let's see if that's going to work. There we go. The details of this particular smart meter will come up here. This is one of my test ones, so it doesn't have the information available on here, but now it is registered to the system, so we can click next. We can select a digester. So again, this organization has a selection of digesters that are already created, so we can select essentially from a stock list of different digesters. So we can either pick one that already exists, or we can create a new one. So let's create a new one for the sake of argument here, so we can select what type of digester it is. This is quite an important piece of information because it affects how we process some of the data. So let's select masonry dome. Let's go and call it dome 20. We won't give it a manufacturer name. The gas holding capacity we'll say is 15 meters cubed and the total volume is 20 meters cubed. So we'll add that digester, and that should appear in our list here, and we can click next. So similarly for appliances, this organization doesn't have any appliances associated, so we'll click add a new appliance. We will add a consumption appliance. Yeah, we can say that this is a stove. So you have the option of adding consumption appliances or a storage appliance. So if you've got a balloon or a bottle to store gas, then you can add that here as well. But we will add a consumption appliance, and let's call it stove 2. And let's say the flow rate is 1 meter cubed per hour. This is really good information for us to be able to process the data from the smart meter better. So we can say that this person has 2 of these stove 2 units. So we click next, and finally that gives us all of the information here, and we can review it if we want. We can see all the details here. We can go back and edit it. You can go back to any point back in the process, but let's say that is good, and we can click save. So that will now appear in our list.